Testing one.
Testing one.
Welcome back everybody, we're here at Snetterton 300 for the 8th round of the Touring Car Championship here at Motive Racing on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 here on Project Cars 2. And we're currently 2 minutes away from the end of this qualifying session. We had an interesting practice race a few moments ago where we saw the Mutts Nuts taking the win ahead of Grandad Steve. Falguest in third. Falguest seemed like the quickest man in the qualifying session, but in the race was a little bit patchy, so we'll be hoping that he can right those wrongs and get the best possible result here. At the moment he's currently sat on provisional pole on a 1 minute 54.1, so Falguest looking strong at the moment. The Mutts Nutsy man sat in second spot, 3/10 shy of him. Nick Lavilla currently in third at the moment in this session as he's coming up towards the line. Can Nick improve? Not at the moment. Grandad Steve running in fourth place. He's going to have a bit of a tow here actually off of Pete Bibb as he comes up towards the line. Can Grandad Steve be aided by that? He can. Look at that. Grandad Steve goes pole position, first man into the 153s, so that tow has worked an absolute treat there for Grandad Steve. He goes to the top of the leaderboard as PG Polino goes up into fourth place with that latest lap there of his. Nick Lavilla in P5 but gets pushed down a position. Pete Bibb in P6, he's just parked up by turn 2. Swiss Tony in 7th at the moment in this session. Fulek 8th. We've got Fulek just coming up towards the line. What can he do on this particular lap? Doesn't improve on that particular run. Nicky in 9th place at this point. DJ Phil running in P10 in this session with Guitar Rich moving himself up the order a bit with that last lap of his, going up into 6th for now. So you've got a few different sort of sections of the order really. You've got the top 5, Grandad Steve, Falguest, the Mutts Nuts, PG Polino and Nick Lavilla, all separated by 6/10. You've got Guitar Rich, Pete Bibb and Swiss Tony looking like a pretty tight bunch, and then you've obviously got Fulek, Nicky and DJ Phil are going to be having a good battle as well. So you've really got a lot of groups here in the running order tonight, so I think it's going to be an exciting race throughout the field here. We've got 11 cars out on the track. The number 12 at the bottom is actually me, and I'm not racing, I'm going to be commentating for this one. So it's going to be 11 cars racing out on track as we're watching Nick Lavilla at the moment. Just coming in towards the final couple of corners, towards the bomb hole, and let's see what sort of time he can put on the board here. Can Nick Lavilla maybe start to bother Grandad Steve's pole time, as this will be his final lap of the session here. Nick Lavilla's going to do it now or never. Out of the last corner he's about to come onto the power, gets it really rotated there on the apex, out of the last corner up towards the line. What is this time going to be here for Nick Lavilla? Cheers Ian Mitchell, thanks for that mate, appreciate it. Appreciate you're the one person watching this at the moment. Top man. As we see, Nick Lavilla doesn't improve his lap time there. Nick Lavilla will start this in P5 at best, but Grandad Steve, the provisional pulses, doesn't improve. Mutts Nuts comes over. No, he's not come over yet, sorry, he's coming in towards the hairpin. He's actually on a lap still. Guitar Rich is still out there at this point. We got Swiss Tony, DJ Phil, Fulek all out on laps. Oh, as Fulek completely misses out the final section of the lap. What is going on there? My goodness. Okay, he gets it back on the track once again, but Fulek out of the last corner and up towards the line. And what is Fulek going to be able to put on the board here as he crosses over the line now? And he doesn't change any positions at the moment, so he stays in P10 for the time being. That looks like it's going to be that then for the session. I think it's going to be Grandad Steve starting on pole, Falguest in second, and the Mutts Nuts. Can he do anything here in the final part of the lap? He needs to really nail these final couple of corners if he is to take pole here. He's got a driver just in front of him, so he's got some traffic which he's going to need to negotiate. That would be DJ Phil just in front of the Mutts Nuts. He's going to be hoping, the Mutts Nuts is going to be hoping that DJ Phil doesn't interfere with him, as here he comes, DJ Phil in the foreground, missing the apex a little bit. The Mutts Nuts is actually going to get quite a nice tow here off DJ Phil, so this has worked out reasonably well here for the Mutts as he's coming up towards the line now. DJ Phil pits, so he's done for the session. The Mutts Nuts P3, can he move up the order and get himself on the front row maybe? No, he just misses out. He improves his time by 3/10 of a second, but just missed out on a front row start, missed out on pole by 2/10. Grandad Steve will take pole ahead of Falguest and the Mutts Nuts. PG Polino 4th, Nick Lavilla 5th, but Guitar Rich in 6th with Pete Bibb 7th, Swiss Tony 8th, DJ Phil in 9th, Fulek 10th, and rounding out the field will be Nicky in P11. It's going to be a great race throughout the field, lots of close battles in terms of the pack's going to be split into 3 different battles I think in this one, or who knows, maybe it could be a closer, more broader battle than we think it's going to be, but I'll just have to wait and see. to obviously most of the people watching this stream will be the drivers watching it back afterwards, but to those who are watching live, please drop a like. It really does help us out. Obviously most of the people, as I say, watching this back will be the drivers post race, but nonetheless, please enjoy, please like, and here we go. Let's get going for the sprint race. Is that the one I sent you? I always use TTTT. That's always my setup. I never use anything else. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly the one that I always... Oh no, 4 T's and a 4. No, I just use T. Mine doesn't have any numbers in it. It's just literally 4 T's, but there's no numbers. There's no like 4 on the end of it. It's just TTTT. Maybe yours is the evolved version, but my one works quite well. I don't really want to change mine because mine always works decent. But I'm not racing, so it's not much good to me right now anyway. I'm already retired and spectated, mate. Sorry. Yeah, I'll shoot it out for the second one. For commentate, kind of like gives you got something to watch afterwards, so decent. Remember to ready up, guys. We haven't got long until the start. I haven't got the timer on my screen, but I'm sure it's pretty close. Here we go then, we're about to go racing here at Snetterton for the first race of the evening. Lights are on as the engine revs rise here, and it looks as though we are lights out and away we go. Terrible start from Grandad Steve. Falgas got a much better jump off the line, and it's going to lead us into turn 1. The Mutt's in third, gets a decent one. Nick Lavilla slightly bogged down, has got PG Polino already looking to his inside. Swiss Tony, Guitar Rich, looks like they're pretty close. Oh, we see Swiss Tony and Polino having a bit of a to-do there. Swiss Tony drops down the field a little bit, down to P9 at the start of this one. Not the start he would have been looking for at all. Grandad Steve leads ahead of Falgast, so he's obviously hold on to that lead. Grandad Steve doing a good job there of maintaining P1. Falgast has got Nuts just behind him here, so these two had a great battle in the practice race beforehand. Look like they're tied at the hip at the moment. PG Polino in 4th with Guitar Rich just behind Nick Lavilla, Fulek, DJ Phil and Swiss Tony and Pete Bibb at the moment. Oh no! As Swiss Tony and Pete Bibb come together and they've both skidded off towards the railings there, and it looks as though Pete Bibb gets it going, and again as now Swiss Tony gets it going. Swiss Tony got it going a bit quicker than Pete Bibb did. Both of those two down to more or less the back as we now see Grandad Steve leading ahead of Falgas. 4 tenths, 5 tenths between these two. The Nuts really hassling these two as well. These three kind of breaking away a little bit from Polino. There's Guitar Rich just behind Polino. Nick Lavilla, Fulek very close as well. A DJ Phil in the background of that as we've got Nick Lavilla, sorry not Nick Lavilla, Nicky running in 9th place, and Swiss Tony's retired from the race, so he's out of this one in the very early stages of this one. So that's Swiss Tony done for the sprint race, and flash the lights there from Falgas trying to get into the head of Grandad Steve a little bit coming up towards the chicane, but Grandad Steve not taking the bait in that one. He's not going to be phased in any way, shape or form by any little flash the lights or distraction techniques. He's going to be holding firm and not being too concerned about that one. Swiss Tony though, what a shame, out of the race in the very early stages. And Pete Bibb now running all by himself in P10 has got a lot of work to do here in this one, but he'll still be going for some points, so it's not all doom and gloom. Grandad Steve Falgas out of the last corner, half a second between these two as they're coming out onto the start finish straight. The Nuts there in 3rd place, not too far off the back. There's PG Polino, Guitar Rich and Nick Lavilla running very close here. Looks like they're only separated by about 3 tenths of a second at the moment, so that is one we've got to watch out for, as Guitar Rich has got heavy pressure from Nick up towards turn 1, but he's a little bit too far back to make the move coming into that first corner. Grandad Steve though, he's got 2 tenths to Falgas in towards turn 2, takes a slightly defensive line coming into the corner as he hugs the curve on the inside. He's very conscious of the fact that Falgas is on him at the moment, and he's going to be looking to try and make no mistakes here. Not going to give Falgas anything to go on here in this race, as we see him a little bit wide through that part of the track, but keeping it pretty much pinned at the moment. Nuts just waiting in the wings, hoping to get involved if these two trip over each other. Polino in the background there has got Guitar Rich and Nick Lavilla in hot pursuit. 4th, 5th and 6th places. Oh, it's Fulek in the background there all over the place. Tags the railing a little bit there. He's going to probably lose out, I think, to DJ Phil. but gets away without too much damage. I would feel he wouldn't have got too much damage. It was just a little knock into the wall, nothing too major, but nonetheless a debilitating moment there for him, as we've still got Grandesty leading by 3/4 tenths of a second to Falguest, as they're coming out onto the back straight here for the second time. Grandesty ever so wide there, coming out onto that back straight, so he'll be looking to try and rein that in over the course of this race. Falguest has got the Mutsnuts very close on him now, as he's in that slipstream coming up towards the chicane. A little bit too far back this time around to make anything happen, but Grandesty has got Falguest absolutely hassling him. As Falguest all over the sausage curb there. He's going to be wide out of that particular section of the track, and now the Mutsnuts is going to try and duck underneath him, but he can't. Falguest does hold on for the time being, as Mutsnuts gets it all wrong coming through that part of the track, a little bit onto the grass, and couldn't capitalise on Falguest's little mistake there. That's given Grandesty a bit of breathing space now. He's got over a second here of a gap at the front. Falguest completely missed his apex there coming out the last corner. That's going to give the Mutsnuts a good run here coming down the start finish straight. Is this going to be an opportunity for the Mutsnuts here? I think it is, you know. He's going to have that slipstream. He's going to now pull out onto the right hand side. He's going to have the inside for turn one. The outside through turn one here at Snetterton isn't too bad. We've seen this before, as now the Mutsnuts is going to try up the inside, but I think it's better that one, as Falguest manages to get that outside run and holding on to that P2 at the moment. And Grandesty has now got over a 1.5 second gap here to these two, so they've really lost out to Grandesty since they've been battling with each other, as Paulinho's got Guitar Rich and Nick Livilla very close behind him here. These three battling it out for 4th place. DJ Phil running in 7th place. Has got Fulek 2 seconds behind him. Nicky and Pete Bibb having a struggle so far in this sprint race, but keeping going, staying in the fight. Good to see, and they'll be getting some good points for their championship campaigns for that. But Grandesty still leading by 1.3 seconds at the moment ahead of Falguest, and the Mutsnuts just looking to try and keep the pressure on Falguest, but these two don't want to be slowing each other too much, because they're going to lose out to Grandesty. The more that they keep battling, it's going to drop them out of that fight for the win. Paulinho's still running in 4th place. Has got half a second back to Guitar Rich. The Guitar Rich all over the grass there, just about keeping it stable there, as Nick Levilla's trying to make the most of that, trying to duck underneath him if he can. Has a little look, but he's not going to be able to make a move there. It's not enough of a break between the corners to even make that run count for anything, and for the time being Nick Livilla unable to make that P5, tucks in behind Guitar Rich for now. Grandesty still in the lead of the race. Grandesty has led this one since the get-go, was on pole position, did a great lap in the qualifying session, was the only driver in the 153s. Falguest has followed him around for the first few laps of this race, but now Grandesty seems to be putting a little bit of a gap, and the Mutsnuts is now losing Falguest a little bit here, so Grandesty pulling away from Falguest, Falguest pulling away from the Mutsnuts. These three starting to spread out a little bit. Paulinho, so far on this lap, I think it's been a little bit quicker than them. The gap was around 8 seconds back to Paulinho before. It's now about 7.5. So Paulinho's gained a little bit over the course of this lap. Guitar Rich there running in 5th has got Nick Livilla still pretty close to him as they're coming over the line to complete their 3rd lap of the race. And yeah, this has just been plenty of drama so far in this one, to be fair. It's been lots going on. Grandesty still has that lead by 3 tenths ahead of Falguest, as Falguest ever so wide there, all over that curb and a little bit onto the grass. Very close stuff there for Falguest. Mutsnuts has dropped off for these two a little bit over the last lap or so, as we see Paulinho's got just over a second to Guitar Rich at the moment. Guitar Rich has got Nick Livilla also all over him. DJ Phil there running in 7th place, has got Fulek in 8th, about 3-4 seconds behind him. Nicky there in 9th, and Pete Bibb completing the classification, still going. Great to see, sticking with it despite the damage on his car. He's not giving up and he's not throwing in the towel, and you've got to respect that. Hats off to the man for the job he's doing tonight. Regular in our GT4s is Pete Bibb on a Wednesday night on ACC. Regular fan on Motive as well, always commenting, always saying hello to us when we're on the streams. Anybody who's watching live, big appreciation to you guys. Thanks to the person who disliked, but yeah, we got yeah, if you enjoy it, drop a like. As I said, most of the people who have watched these streams are going to be watching it post stream, so it's not going to be too many people watching it live. But you know, if you enjoy it, drop a like. If you don't, drop a dislike. As we've got 7 tenths of a second between Grandesty and Falguest right now. The Mutsnuts 1.8 back off for the leaders, just over a second behind Falguest at this point. Paulinho's still got pressure from Guitar Rich and Nick Livilla, as we see Guitar Rich just knocking a bit of a grass there coming through that section, but still at the moment keeping that P5 as we see Polino very hesitant coming to that last corner there. And is that going to give Guitar Rich an opportunity to get a run here coming down the start-finish straight? He definitely got a better drive out of the last corner. Over the line we come to complete the 4th lap of the race, and now Guitar Rich having a little look to the inside, thinking about it on Polino. Thinks better of it for now. Falgas still on the back of Granadsteed here, 0.3 of a second separating these two. The Muttnuts is just being held at arm's length here. He's been prevented from really striking a knockout blow here because he's just not close enough at this stage in the race. One thing to note is that the Muttnuts has got 9 litres of fuel in the car. I don't know whether he's going to get to the flag on that. He might just be able to make that last. I know on the Project Cars game there's like a weird, well, it's not a glitch, it's more just a method I suppose, but basically when it shows up as 9 litres, it could be anywhere between 9 and 9.9 litres. So even if you got say near enough 10 litres or 9.5, it will show up on the game as 9. And I've noticed this because when you've got 1 litre of fuel in the tank, it shows up as 0 litres. So you could have 0.8, 0.7, 0.6 of a litre in the tank, and it will show up as 0 on the spectator screen on Project Cars. So generally you've got a little bit more than what it says on the screen, you know, for the most part. But I don't know, it could be a close one here, as we're going to have just over 3 laps to go here. These guys coming through the final part of the lap, and oh, the Muttnuts all over the place there, getting a big bit of grass action there. Don't want to take to the grass too much. It can help you out at times if you're if you messed up a corner. You can definitely take to the grass and avoid losing too much, but it can also definitely bite you on the bum. But right now Granadsteed still running in the lead of the race. 0.3 of a second is his gap at the moment over Falgas. In towards turn 1 they come. The Muttnuts just falling off the back of these two as they're continuing to battle it out for the leaders. Oh, Granadsteed all over the place there out the first corner, and that's going to give Falgas the opportunity he needed. He swoops down the inside into turn 1 and through turn 2 they come. Falgas now has the lead of the race. Granadsteed's driven a faultless sprint race so far, but just one little step is all that Falgas needed, and he's up into the lead of the race. Great move there from Falgas, perfectly seized upon, took his opportunity when it presented itself, did not need a second invitation. Now Granadsteed's got to work hard if he wants to get this race lead back and win this sprint race here. He's done everything right here as Granadsteed, but just one little moment was all it took, and Falgas now has the ascendancy. Nick Lavilla running in 4th place has got Polino and Guitar Rich still pretty close behind him. These three battling it out for 4th place. What's Granadsteed got in his locker here to try and come back at Falgas? The Muttnuts has dropped off of the pace over the last couple of the laps. He doesn't seem to be able to go with these guys as Granadsteed all over the place there, coming out onto the back straight. May have got to slow down for that, hopefully not. Here they come up towards the line to complete the 6th lap. 2 to go here at Snetterton. It's Falgas who has the lead after having it gifted to him on a plate through Granadsteed's little mistake at the beginning of lap 6. All that Falgas needed was just a little moment from Stee to take the lead. These two have been pulling away from the Muttnuts consistently over the last few laps. It's all about, can Falgas keep his cool? Can Granadsteed mount a challenge? The rest of the pack seems to have strung out a little bit. Nick Lavilla's got the better of Polino in 4th and seems to have that one done. Polino still running in P5. He's got Guitar Rich still on the back of him here, batting over P5. Bit of a gap back to DJ Phil running in 7th place. Fulek 7 seconds off of the back of Phil in 8th place. Nick Lavilla there in 9th. Pete Bibb completing at the top 10. We lost Swiss Tony obviously early on in the race. Hopefully he'll join us back for the feature. But Falgas has the lead. Granadsteed's going to surely be throwing the kitchen sink at him come this final lap of the race. as we've got Guitar Rich and Polino now pretty close. Polino looking like he might lose another position unless he's careful. Guitar Rich is going to try and go around the outside here. Polino was hugging that sausage curb there and had to take evasive action, I think, as he was pretty much parked on the apex. He had to just sort of navigate around it, and Guitar Rich is going to go all the way around the outside. What a move there from Guitar Rich. That was absolutely superb stuff there. Kept it pinned all the way around the outside. That was a great move, but now Polino is going to try and come back at him here. Pulls to the outside, down the back straight they come. He's going to try and return the favour here, but he's going to go wide. He's going to go very deep, coming through that corner, and slides onto the grass a bit and clouts the sausage curb to boot. And that's just put Polino way offline there. Guitar Rich up into P5 due to that lovely move that he set up coming out onto the back straight there. Back to the leaders though, Falguest and Granasty, 2 tenths between them coming up towards turn 1. Granasty's got another run coming down the start from the straight, but can't get it done into turn 1. The Mutsnuts has closed a little bit on these two over the last lap, gained 8 tenths on the 2 leaders as they were squabbling. What's Falguest got to try and keep this lead? Has Granasty got anything left to throw at Falguest on this final lap of the race? Lap 8 of 8, no pit stop in this one. These guys have been out there fighting for the entirety of it. No respite, no little breaks, no time to regather your thoughts. It's just been constant racing, constant action, and some great racing from these guys up front, as they're giving it absolutely everything here. The Mutsnuts now within a second of Stee, looking to try and mount a last ditch challenge, but he goes deep into that corner, and that may have just put a nail in his chances, which were already looking slim to none. But Falguest leads by half a second here, coming in towards the final sector of the lap. Granasty looking like he's just got to throw caution to the wind at this point. He's got nothing to lose now except maybe second place if the Mutsnuts is able to capitalise on any mistakes from him. Out onto the back straight then we come. Falguest got a lovely exit out of that part of the track, and now looks like he's just going to have to bring this one around the final couple of corners. Granasty's given this everything, qualified on pole. Granasty led most of this race up until 3 laps from home when he made that little mistake coming through turn 1. That was all Falguest needed to take the lead, and Falguest has gone and taken that opportunity with both hands, and has got just 2 corners left to go, a right and a left, and then out onto the start finish straight. Falguest was the quickest man in the build up to the race in the practice session. In the practice race that we had before the actual start of this event, it was actually the Mutsnuts who took the win ahead of Stee and Falguest, so this been basically just reversed here. Falguest is going to take the win here for the sprint race as he comes up towards the line. A flash of lights from him, what a drive. Comes out on top there ahead of Granasty. Granasty takes a P2, returns the gesture with a flash of the lights. The Mutsnuts completes the podium. These 3 absolutely smashed it here in this sprint race. Nobody could touch them. What a drive from these 3 maestros, as we see Nick Levilla coming up towards the line to take a 4th place here in this race, 10 seconds off of the back of those guys. Guitar Rich is going to finish this one in 5th place. A solid result here from Rich. In the end, couldn't quite close in on Nick Levilla. PG Polino lost out to Nick and Guitar Rich in the closing laps of that one, and he's going to come round in 6th place here is Polino. Bit of a wiggle there as he crosses over the line. DJ Phil about 10 seconds off at the back of PG Polino. Coming up towards the line, a flash of lights from DJ Phil, sporting the Mild 7 Renault Megane livery, the Emochi livery, as he crosses the line there. Great job from Phil as always. Fulek comes over in 8th place. Nick Levilla a little way back off of Fulek, but Fulek, good result for him, some good points. Nicky's going to come around to take a 9th place here in this one. In the end, about 4 or 5 seconds ahead of Pete Bibb. Those two kind of were pretty similar for pace for most of the race. I think they both had damage. Yeah, Nicky's got 1 headlight and a front bumper, which looks like it's been an absolute mad one. He comes over to take 9th place ahead of Pete Bibb, who finishes in P10. And that is that then for the sprint race. Falguest takes the win, Granasty 2nd, Mutsnuts 3rd. We'll be back on very, very shortly for the feature race here, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I say ladies and gentlemen, the only people watching this are going to be the drivers watching it back, but you know what I mean. So return to the lobby and let's get this feature race underway. Alright guys, second one's 12 laps with a mandatory stop. We'll jump straight in.
Okay, I'd mess you.
Say again, mate.
I had massive damage on the front of that car.
Yeah, I saw, because you only have 1 headlight for most of the race.
dodge everything. I had to creep it round. It was mad.
It looked like a nightmare. Still fair play though. You and Pete Bibb were like quite evenly matched for the whole of that race. You was kind of, the gap was just always 4 or 5 seconds.
I thought he was going to catch me towards the end because I was starting to really. The engine was like up to 30 damage. I was like,
Fucking hell. No, to be fair, engine damage, until it blows, it makes very minimal difference. I find it's like about a tenth per 10% or something like that. So you're only losing about a second a lap. But even by the time it goes kaput, you're only losing about a second a lap.
yeah,
You know, at most.
I lost so much downforce and everything. I couldn't even get up to 6th gear down the main straight. Yeah, that's your fun.
It's a nightmare. That's full damage for you. First lap, it's like it can all go wrong. First lap, and that's it.
It's just one of them, innit?
There's no coming back.
I don't mind. The other guys are too quick anyway.
There's no redemption in full damage mode.
And you've got managed with it now.
Oh no. Alright, let me restart it, because otherwise it's going to be chaos. Sorry about this, guys. I forgot to do the mandatory pit stop in the lobby settings. We'll have this sorted out ASAP. We'll get it back up and running ASAP. Big shout out to the 2 viewers. Where's mandatory stop? I've forgotten where it is. Did Foul receive an invite? Cheers, Val. Sorry about that, boys. Here we are then, guys. Join us once again for the end of the second qualifying session here. It looks as though we're just on our final runs of the session for the drivers that are still out there. Those who are in the pits, such as Falguest, the provisional pole sitter. They're not going to improve from here on in, but Grandad Steed's coming up towards the final few corners of the lap that he's presently on at this particular moment in time. As we've got the Mutts Nuts, he looks like he's done for the session, so he's obviously been across the line already. But great, it's all on Grandad Steed here, provisionally sat on the front row of the grid as it stands, and let's see what he can put on the board here. Can he topple Falguest there at the top of that leaderboard and go that 400s quicker, which he needs to? We saw these two having a great battle in the first race. Steed took pole for the first race before Falguest went on and took the win in the closing stages. It'd be funny if Steed ended up second and then won the race in this one, wouldn't it? It'd be like a role reversal, but up towards the line they come anyway. What can Steed do here? He crosses over the line and he doesn't improve. He stays in second, so it's going to be Falguest leading up for this one ahead of Steed. A direct swap there between those two. Falguest so quick in the first sector, Steed lightning quick in the final sector, but only 300 separating those two. Mutts Nuts in third with Polino fourth, Nick DeVilla fifth, Swiss Tony sixth, followed by Pete Bibb in seventh, then Guitar Rich eighth, DJ Phil ninth, Zande in 10th, and then rounding out the field, Nicky in 11th and Fulek in 12th. As usual, guys, I'd implore you, if you are watching live, to drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're watching us for the first time. As I said before, most of the people watching this are going to be the drivers themselves, watching it post-race and checking it back and seeing how cool they look on the stream. But obviously, if you are watching live, if you're a friend, family or otherwise associate of anybody racing in this race, then be sure to drop a like, share it with your friends, share it with your relatives, share it with your dog, your cat, you know, anything that can walk or talk, basically. Yeah, definitely get them to have a look at this, see what we're about, see what the motive racing leagues are like to race in. Always good clean racing in these touring cars, gotta say. Never a dull moment in these. Kind of like distracts you from reality for a brief fleeting 15, 20, 25 minutes or so, but yeah, it's always good to watch. And Falguest to be lining up on pole for this one. Looks like he's in the box seat to take another win, having taken a win in the sprint race earlier on. He'll be definitely looking to get a good run up towards turn one and keep that lead coming into turn one, indeed for the rest of the first lap and indeed for the whole race. But a mandatory pit stop in this one throws a spanner in the works a little bit for those who get a good first stint to the race, because it can just allow those who are a little bit further down to do that 1 second pit stop or that 0.7 of a second pit stop, that little pit stop glitch where you can get 2% engine damage and then absolutely fly through the pits like basically just like a fast train at a platform that isn't stopping, and you know, you can really fly through those pits. So anyway, here we go. We're about to go racing here at Snetterton for the feature race of the evening, round 8 of the season. It's not race 16 because we started off the season doing only one race per round, so it's actually trying to work it out. Oh, never mind. We're about to go racing here. Lights are coming on and engine rest rise. Flash the lights from Falguest as it is. Lights out and away we go. Good start from Falguest. Grandad Steed gets a really terrible one and gets jumped by the Mutts Nuts immediately. Nick DeVilla in the background has got Swiss Tony looking to his inside. Swiss has got the jump on him up into 4th place. Great start there from Swiss Tony as we've got PJ Polino. There's Pete Bibb in 7th. Round the outside of KRB Arzande. Guitar Rich, DJ Phil, Nick DeVilla and Fulek at the back in P12. But Falguest leads coming in towards turn 2 and we see there Mutts Nuts a little bit wide around turn 2, manages to just about hold it on the inside of Grandad Steed. Side by side, Steed slightly ahead, but the Mutts Nuts is going to have the inside line and it's going to slot back up into P2 there. Nicely telegraphed there from the Mutts Nuts. You've got Swiss Tony, Nick DeVilla, PG Polino, KRB Azande in 7th with Pete Bibb 8th. Then we've got the Guitar Rich, DJ Phil. Fulek's got ahead of Nicky up into 11th place though. Good stuff there from Fulek as we're watching the battle. Oh, as we see a collision there. PG Polino getting involved, also Nick DeVilla getting a big slide on and loses out there. He's well, no, he doesn't actually lose out. He actually gets in front of Swiss Tony there. Those two having a big little to-do there. But Nick Lavilla coming out on top of that one. In the background there, you can also see that we've got KRB Arzande just holding on ahead of Pete Bibb. DJ Phil trying to get involved in this as DJ Phil pushes Pete Bibb out wide a little bit there. A little bit naughty from Phil. Very uncharacteristic of Phil. Got to say, he's usually a very clean and fair driver. But it just elbows out on the first lap. I suppose anything goes on the first lap, really. As long as you don't completely wipe someone out. Oh, what is this? What's going on there? Oh, no! What's he doing? What was going on there? Well, Guitar Rich just swerved across the track and I don't know what was going on there. I think he got a bit onto the grass and lost control of the car. But DJ Phil's retired from the race. Jesus Christ. That's put Fulek way off the back, and it's put Nicky in all sorts of problems. Luckily, there's a mandatory pit stop in this race, so it's not all doom and gloom. But is Nicky stopping the car? No, he's keeping on because there's a mandatory pit stop, so he can bring it in and damage limitation in this race. But wow, I really don't know what to say after that. Falgas leads ahead of Grandestee right now. Nick Lavilla and the Mutsnuts very close here in this battle for second, third and fourth, and Swiss Tony's just watching this unfold in the background, hoping to try and feast on the scraps, but he's got PG Polino actually looking to try and make a move around his outside here. Swiss, in fact no, he's up his inside, sorry. PG Polino's got the run here on the inside and is going to complete that move on Swiss Tony. Nicely done, but Swiss is going to try and get the cut back, can't do it. Polino parks his car on the curb and nowhere around for Swiss Tony there. Falgas leading this race by just over a second. Steve's got Nick Lavilla and the Mutsnuts in hot pursuit here as Polino very wide onto the grass coming through that part of the track just there. Carnage here in the first couple of races. DJ Phil, couple of laps even. DJ Phil not happy with that one in the game chat there. But we see there Nick. Oh, Nick the Riddler. Oh, well saved. In the end, only drops about a second or so. He's still with the leaders. That was unbelievable skill there from Nick the Riddler. I don't know how he managed to keep onto that. Well, I do, but fair play to him for managing it. And only loses one position in all of that, which is a miracle really. Steve within 7/10 of Falgas. This man here, the Mutsnuts, in third, just behind them. Nick's got a run coming down the start finish straight, not close enough though into turn one. Polino on the back of this, what is now a quintet, although the top two starting to break away from the following trio. And then you've got Swiss Tony there running in P6, and Nicky's unfortunately retired from the race. Can't blame him really. The damage to the on that car was pretty damning to say the least. And he's obviously thrown in the towel here at the end of lap 2. Falgas still though is your race leader. Half a second is his gap to Grandestee at the moment. The Mutsnuts a further second or so back in this race. Nicky there in the comments says that the game didn't repair his damage. Oh no. Project Cars glitches once again striking. We've seen this before. Stupid Prolapse pit crew, says Nicky. Yeah, definitely the team Prolapse pit crew are going to be in for some spankings after this race, I would imagine. They must have been out drinking last night. That's the only conclusion that I can jump to. Maybe they were riding some unicorns until the early hours of the morning. Whatever the case, Nicky has unfortunately fallen victim to a error which is no fault of his own. Falgas still leading this race, has got a second of a gap back to Steve, so he's got that buffer to him at the moment. The Mutsnuts there in third, keeping tabs at this point. Nicky saying he needs to get some practice in with these touring cars. Yeah, practice makes perfect with this Megane. I've got a lovely setup. I think you've got it, and you do have to work with it. You know, doesn't come easy. You've got to kind of like, you've really got to get to grips with it first. It's a very, very tricky driving style with the Megane. You've kind of just got to send it and throw it around and hope for the best. But once you get the hang of it, it's a joy to drive. DD in the comments, DDTKU, one of our regulars in the GT3s on Assetto course competition on a Sunday night, chiming in here. Good to have DD in the comments saying, keep going guys, don't give up, don't throw in the towel. There's every reason to keep pushing. Plenty of points on offer, and points mean prizes, as we all know. Nick Levilla's dropped off a little bit off the top three. The dominant three here tonight. Falguest, Granasty and the Mutsnuts continuing to exert their dominance on this field. They have been in another class here tonight. Nicky says, I think I need to chat with Laney. Definitely. Get Laney in, mate. Get Laney in. Miss him. Damn good driver. He would definitely be in that fight with Foul, Stee and the Mutsnuts. I don't know if he'd be able to beat them, but he would definitely be in that fight for sure. Definitely need there. And with that, you know, get Xmart back in. Lady and Xmart, Team Prolapse reunion. Why not? Oh, it's big slide there from the Mutsnuts, clipping that sausage curb there all over the show. To be fair though, Friday night's a bit of a tricky one. I know that a lot of the guys, it's a difficult one Friday night. I mean, we finish at 10:15, so it's not too bad. Yes, that's what we want to hear, Nicky. Missing the Prolapse buzz around the Discord server. Get Laney and Xmart back in the touring cars, as we see Granasty having a look to the inside of fouling towards turn 2, but can't get it done at the moment. Sorry, Stee looking to the inside of foul. Did I say? I think I said the other way around there. Just, you know, when you just say something and you can just like, you almost like hear yourself in your head. It's like you hear like a replay of yourself, even though I wasn't actually hearing a physical replay of myself, but I kind of like just heard myself speak there for a second. I was like, I think I said that all wrong. I don't know. But Foul still keeping Stee at bay, as we see Foul there kicking up a bit of the grass on the outside of the track. Stee looking to the outside, Foul just covering that inside line off, not allowing any gaps to form. And whilst these two are really giving it some, the Mutsnuts has dropped off a little bit on the last lap, but it's now starting to reel them back in ever so slightly. DD says in the comments he's a Finnish driver. He comes from the same place as Rompu. That's cool. DD, I didn't know you were a Finn. You must be a big Raikkonen fan or a Bottas fan. Oh, as we can see here, Falguest and Granasty having a good little ding dong, and Falguest just squeezes through ahead of him there. That was very tight racing, and that's allowed the Mutsnuts onto the back of them once again. So are you and Rompu friends in real life then, DD? I never knew that, to be fair. As we see, Falguest still holding on to this lead. Oh, gets a bit of the grass there on the exit of the final corner. He's coming into the pit, so he pulls the trigger there early, and that's going to give Granasty the lead for the time being. And both Falguest and the Mutsnuts both get it stopped in time, as Falguest has overshot his pit box. Oh no! Oh, what a shame there for Falguest, as he now... Oh, he's gone wide of the mark. Oh no! This could not have gone much worse here for Falguest. He's overshot his pit box. He then misses, drives wide of his markers. Oh my god. I hope his mechanics are okay. Oh my goodness me. Falguest gets it going once again. But he's going to have lost a lot of... It's not Falguest. I do apologise. I am talking out of my absolute hiney today. That was the Mutsnuts. That was the Mutsnuts there. I am so sorry, Falguest and the Mutsnuts. That was the Mutsnuts there who missed his pit box and had to reverse into his box. Falguest got a perfect stop and is only 22 seconds off of the lead despite having done his pit stop. The Mutsnuts though is 12 seconds behind Falguest. I got those two mixed up. They're running the exact same livery as is Grandad Stee. I got completely confused there as to what was going on, but that was actually the Mutts Nuts there who went wide of his pit box, not once but twice, and is now 12 seconds off of probably the net lead of this race. Didi says Kimi is the man. Big time Kimi fan. To be fair, Kimi's the most iconic Finnish driver, F1 driver, or indeed just any driver in history. You know, Mika Hakkinen won 2 world titles and was a character and everyone loved him, but I don't think anybody can match the aura of Kimi. There's just something so legendary about him. It's just so effortless, doesn't even need to try. Just such a cool guy. As we got Granasty into the box, and hopefully he'll be getting the cheat pit stop. Doesn't look like he does get the cheat, to be fair. He's held in the box for a little while. That was a very bog standard pit stop there from Granasty. I'd say that was 6 or 7 seconds at least, possibly 8. Falguest will be coming up on the scene soon as he comes over the line now. This is going to be tight, you know. I think Falguest is just going to get this done. Up towards turn 1 they come. Falguest has got the jump on Stee, so he maintains the lead of this race. Obviously the Mutts Nuts with that calamitous pit stop a long way behind, but Falguest holding on to that lead which he had before the pit stops, so he's maintaining P1, and Falguest will be looking to try and make it 2 from 2 here tonight, having taken the sprint race after starting in second and getting ahead of Stee about midway through the sprint race. Here in the feature, it's Falguest to lose now, as he's got the net lead of the race. Nick De Villa obviously leads this race at this point, but before the pit stops have even come to fruition, once that has come about, it will most likely be Falguest leading ahead of Stee. Oh, as we see Nick getting all sorts of out of shape there, coming through that double right-hander. The first of the double right-handers gets through the second one unscathed, but that was ever so close there for Nick De Villa. His heart must have been in his mouth there, as he's still got a couple of seconds back to Polino. Polino, I think, did a similar theatrics coming through that corner, so maybe he was caught car watching there on the car in front and just followed suit and did the same mistake. But see Polino there just knocking up a bit of the grass and mud coming through the final sector of the lap, but Nick De Villa, your man, with it, everything under control at the moment. He will probably come out in a net. Oh, I don't know, actually. It's a difficult one to call, to be fair. I wonder if he'll come out ahead of Zande. That could be a close one, you know. Nick De Villa surely, at this point, is going to be targeting a podium, with the Mutts Nuts 26 seconds off for the leaders. I don't know if Zande's been in. If anybody knows if Zande's been in, please let me know. I wouldn't expect anyone to know, because I'm sure everyone's focusing on their own race. But if anybody does happen to know, please let us know. But I don't think anyone would know, to be fair. There's no reason why anybody would be paying particularly close attention to anyone else. But at this point, Nick De Villa still... Oh no, Nick! Oh my goodness me! He just about keeps it out of the wall there. Oh my goodness! And he still holds on to the lead. He had a 2.5 second lead before that. It's now down to just under a second. Nick De Villa, I'll tell you what, he gets himself into these sticky situations, but he's very good at getting himself out of them as well. Oh no, he's done it again. And Paul at Pino's up into the lead. Oh no. Well, I gotta say, car positioning, 5 or 6 out of 10 for Nick, but car control, 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. Got to give it to him. You know, his reaction times are absolutely spot on. But he's lost the lead at the moment to Polino. Falguest is 10 seconds off for the back of these guys, running in third, what is a net lead of the race. But Granad Steve's pretty close on the back of him. These two are battling over the win here, as we're coming towards the end of lap 8. 4 laps left to go here at Snetterton for round 8 of the touring cars. Both Falguest and Steve are in a battle for the championship here, so Falguest obviously leads the championship, I believe, still. I'll have to update those standings ASAP, but I believe Falguest still has the championship lead after 2 weeks ago, because we didn't race last week. So they come out of the last corner, out onto the start finish here for the 8th time. Polino's already on his 9th lap, but these two coming over the line here to complete the current lap that they're on. Nick's in the pits. So just getting himself together again. Maybe he was starting to lose his marbles a bit on that last lap. He's now off and away once again. But you've got to give it to Nick. His saves tonight have been absolutely on point. It's been brilliant to watch. But he's off and out of the pits. Let's not put too much pressure on him now. He's come out ahead of Zande. Let's hope that he can get a podium out of this. Oh, Zande gets him coming down into turn 1. Oh, Mutsnuts is going to squeeze around the outside of Nick Lavilla here. Is the Mutsnuts going to get that position done? The Mutsnuts in a battle for the podium himself here. Again, I'm not sure if Zande's been in. You know what? Let me just have a quick look back through the stream. If I rewind and see if there's any points at which he's lost a bit of time, that will probably be a bit of a clue. Do you know what? I don't think he has been in the pits. No, Zande's still got a pit. So Zande needs to come in at some point between now and the end of the race. He's got the Mutsnuts and Nick behind him, and these two have obviously both been in, so there's a bit of a crossover in strategy here between these guys. But yeah, the Mutsnuts and Nick will be hoping that he doesn't hold them up too much, as we see Nick very wide there onto the grass in a little bit, riding over that curve ever so slightly. PG Polino leads the race by 8 seconds. He still needs to come into the pits though before the end of this race. Fowl and Grandad Steve have already been in, so they have got a clean slate all the way to the end. These two running in the matching liveries, the yellow, white and red. Very fetching indeed. They've got a couple of corners left to go here on this lap. So 3 laps left to go for these boys who fought out the finish to the first race. It was Fowl who came out on top, kept his cool and managed to outfox Steve, win the closing laps, and now Steve's going to want to try and return the favour here. He got a much better run than Fowl out of the last corner, but I think he might just about not be able to get this done here coming up towards turn 1. He's going to have the inside for the first corner, but thinks better of sending one down the inside for the time being. It's Fowl, a little bit of a wider line, both very different lines through that section of the track, as we see both of them running wide there onto the grass. And Zande's into the pits to make his mandatory pit stop. There he is. So Mutsnuts has got a second back to Nick Lavilla. Those two are going to be battling it out over the podium spots, I would imagine. No, Polino's come out ahead of them. Great stop from Polino there. He's come out in P3, so he's played a blinder in the strategy there. Polino staying out in the lead of the race. Had some clean air for a little while. Now has P3. He's jumped the Mutsnuts and Nick Lavilla. What a great little play there from PG Polino, and could be on for a podium in his first ever event here at Motive. Obviously raced in the sprint race earlier on, but this is his first event, first ever appearance on the channel tonight, so to speak, and he has really delivered. So well done to Polino, got to give it to him there. 3 tenths between Falguest and Grandad Steve right now as they're coming out onto the back straight here. Down towards the end of the back straight they come. What can Grandad Steve do here as he hit the brakes? Still can't get anything done with Falguest. But the thing is, Grandad Steve will know that Falguest obviously outscored him in the first race. Falguest would have extended his championship gap throughout that first race. And Grandad Steve's really got a mountain to climb here in this championship if he wants to keep it alive all the way to the end of the season. Falguest is a proven winner in championships before. Obviously won the Clio Cup in another league on a Tuesday night, so he's got the credentials. And the Clio is very similar types of cars to these Megans, front wheel drive, basically lower powered shopping trolley versions of these cars. But Falguest weaving all over the place down that straight. Hopefully he's not texting and driving, as he's still got the lead of this race for now. PG Polino still keeping the Mutsnuts and Nick Lavilla at bay. Down the start finish straight they come in towards turn 1. That's still as you were between those two. Nick Lavilla in the background there in 5th. Swiss Tony starting to get the laps down actually. You know what, he's closing in on Polino, the Mutsnuts and Nick Lavilla. Seems to be the fastest man out of those 4 guys. Seems to be the fastest man out on track at the moment, does Swiss Tony. Really hitting a purple patch in the closing stages of this race. What can Swiss Tony do here in the closing stages of this race? He's really starting to get to grips with this. Maybe we could be seeing Swiss Tony on the podium here as he's 3.5 seconds off of the Mutsnuts with 2 laps left in this race. Steve and Falguest coming already towards the end of the penultimate lap though. 2 tenths the gap between these two coming out onto the back straight here once again, which leads down to this very long stretch towards the final sector, which leads into that left-right of Brundle and Nelson. But 3/10 the gap. Onto the brakes they come. Grandad Steve's managed to get ahead of Falguest on this lap, and it's going to look like he's at this stage in the race, looks like he's going to turn the tables on Falguest. We obviously saw Steve leading most of the race in the sprint race and ended up getting mugged by Falguest with 3 laps left to go. He's done the opposite to Falguest this time around. Steve getting ahead of Falguest on this lap, getting himself up into P1. Obviously got pole in the first race, did Steve, but lost out to Falguest. Falguest got pole for this one, and Steve's ahead of him here in this one. So they've literally just a straight Uno reverse switch there. But down the start-finish straight they come here to start the final lap of the race. Falguest looking to the outside, Steve defending that inside line, up towards turn 1 they come. Can Falguest get it around the long way? He's going to try it, you know. He's going to go for it, and Falguest goes a little bit wide, coming through turn 1, all over that grass there. Goes in another postcode on the outside of the corner there. Grandad Steve holds on to the lead, as Falguest got it all wrong coming through that first corner, and Steve clinging on by the skin of his teeth here. He's hanging by an absolute thread in the lead of this race, but he's done an absolutely brilliant job to hold on to this lead, as we've got 3/4 of a lap left to go here at Snetterton 300 for round 8 of the touring cars. Can Grandad Steve damage limitation here in this one, in his championship battle with Falguest, as we see the Nuts getting himself up into P3 ahead of Nick Lavilla and PG Polino. So PG Polino's lost out to both of them, but Polino's got the inside for turn 3 here, and he's going to hold on ahead of Nick Lavilla just about. But the Nuts looks like he's mugged PG Polino for that podium spot on the last lap, and now Nick Lavilla looking to the inside of Polino, can't get it done in towards Agostini, but it's going to be Grandad Steve and Falguest to fight out the finish for the lead of this race. And Falguest has got the inside, and he's done the move on Grandad Steve, but Grandad Steve's going to go for the cutback here out of this corner. Can he get the run here down this long straight? He's going to have the run here. He's going to be in that slipstream once again. Falguest has got to defend that inside line. Grandad Steve's going to throw the kitchen sink at him into these last corners. He's got nothing to lose now. These guys 15 seconds clear of the Nuts. They got clear air to the rest of them, and now he's going to look to the inside. He's going to get the outside. He's going to turn to the inside here for Nelson. Great move there from Grandad Steve up into the lead of the race. Falguest left in the space on the inside. Steve judged his braking point to perfection, coming on the outside of that corner. That turn to the inside, managed to navigate himself perfectly around that sausage curve. Into the bomb hole they come. Grandad Steve looks like he's nicked it after, looked like he'd lost it on that last lap there. Out of the last corner they come. Grandad Steve and Falguest have put on a great show here out the front. The two main championship contenders fighting out a great race here, as Grandad Steve comes up towards the line. A flash of lights from Falguest, a flash of lights from Grandad Steve, the race winner. They take a win apiece tonight and a pole position apiece. Great racing from those two. Steve your winner, Falguest takes second place. That went all the way down to the wire, and they put on an absolutely fantastic show there. The Nuts is going to come round to take a third place, completes the podium. Solid result there from him. Nick Lavilla just holds on ahead of Polino there for 4th. Polino comes home in P5 ahead of Swiss Tony in 6th. Pete Bibbs coming in towards the final couple of corners, and it's going to be a 7th place finish for this man in the Argentina livery. Out of the last corner he comes, and up towards the line. His teammate Joe Black not here to back him up tonight, but nonetheless Pete has kept with it, and he's going to get some very solid points here. A flash of lights from the number 19. Good job there, Pete Bibb. Guitar Rich is coming up towards the line. It's going to be an 8th place here for Guitar Rich, as he gets some good points there for his campaign. We've got Zande there in 9th, over the line, racing as a reserve tonight. Thanks for jumping in, Zande. And Fulek is coming through the final few corners. Also big shout out to Fulek, thanks for joining in us tonight as well, mate. He's going to come round to take a 9th place finish. Somebody's just left the session there. Oh, it's Swiss Tony. So I'll try and remember that when I'm doing the point standings. But Fulek out of the last corner and up towards the line. It's going to be a 10th really, because Swiss Tony finished in what, 6th. But that is that then, everybody, for the feature race for round 8 of the Touring Car Championship here. Great stuff. Yeah, great stuff. Awesome battle, boys. Brilliant stuff. Kept us entertained. Yeah. Mate, I looked on the second to last lap, and Steve had done you foul. I didn't even see it, and I didn't even see it happen. I was sat there like, when did he do that? And then the last lap was crazy. Honestly, it was brilliant.
The last lap was brilliant.
Yeah, it was. I didn't know which way that was going to go, but round the outside of Brundle, and then you had the inside for Nelson. That was mad. Like, that never works. That never works. It never works. Nobody can do that. Nobody can get around the outside of that left-hander into the right-hander. Nobody can do it. But you made it work. I don't know how. That was sick.
I knew if I kept it into fourth gear, I would get off. So what I did was
You were in fourth?
I dropped the fourth and third as quick as I could. So I had to, like,
Mate.
when you go like under the bridge,
Yeah.
I went from there, I went straight into, like, down into third there, so I got, like, quick into second for the right hand.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because if you took this right-hander in third and you took that tighter line, that like you'd have to be a genius. I couldn't imagine that.
No, I dropped it. I was literally going round to the outside in third gear, then dropped down to second for the right hand turn.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was brilliant.
I don't trust me fucking self.
Mate, Nick, honestly, it was brilliant to watch. Like you were losing it, but then you were catching it so well as well. Like you were literally like losing it, catching it, losing it, catching it.
Why do I keep losing it? I'm not where you get it.
Yeah, great racing, boys. I'll catch you all soon.
Catch you later, Andy.
See you in a bit, mate.